welcome back to the channel today, guys. Today we're going to be doing a top coat with my famous micro flat from Microscale Industries, available on Amazon.com. About $7 a bottle, but it goes a long way. It's water soluble and it dries just like dull coat. Now on the bottom of my bottle I have 2 fishing sinkers. I always keep spares. Got a couple spare bottles. This one's almost done. This is actually the last top coat project for this bottle, and it will be pitched. So I got my speeder bikes. I let things pile up for a little while. Got my Romans that I got included with my Wargames Illustrated. I got my Crimean Russians there. Those are my speeder bike bases. I got my AT-RT. I'm going to give it all in one shot. Got my famous Omar gloves available at Costco. Gotta love Costco. Dirt cheap. I buy several boxes of them, keep some out in my workshop. They're good if you're doing spray painting projects on equipment. All right, got my air set up and applying some of the microflat. And now I leave just a little bit of airbrush cleaner in the bottom of my spray pot, and then it's pretty much ready to go for the next session. My famous H2O distilled water little bottle. Everything's famous. Right. You can see a test spray there. Sometimes I'll spray down if I'm using a color. I'll spray into a paper towel. I find that my pressure is a little too high right here, so you see me, I'll turn the pressure down. That's just comes with experience. The more you use your airbrush, the more you will get used to the different materials and the different ranges. You're going to end up between 20 to 30 psi. Like I said in a previous video, here's my Romans. I said in a previous video, it's all about getting it thin. It's got to be thin. If it's not coming out, it's not thin enough. But this process works so good. Now this is a 0.5 tip running through an Iwata Neo. I like the Iwata Neo because it comes with 2 different size paint pots, a small and a large. The large has a lid. I do use the small sometimes, but mostly the large paint bowl. There's the Russian Crimeans, Crimean Russians. I like to do 2 to 3 light coats, and you see this comes out a similar style spray that you would have from a shaker can. The difference is you're not going to deal with the smelly aerosol. There's no smell with this at all whatsoever. I've got a very good fan filtration system that's soaking up all the paint particles. I would not use this Zenny paint booth with a shaker can though. I would only use it with airbrush. Again, this is a top coat that is water soluble. It provides an excellent finish, excellent protective coat. I've used this since I've had my airbrush. Now, if you don't have an airbrush and you want to use this and just use a standard size, medium size brush, you can do that again. See, I just turned the pressure down again. And I'm going to use up the last little bit of this micro scale or micro flat. Get the tops and the bottoms. The other nice thing about this paint booth is it's creating a nice airflow, so the miniatures dry pretty quickly. So by the time I get done with my last miniature, if I got 4 or 5 things to top coat, by the time when I'm done with the last miniature, the first is dry and I can go back in with my next coat. Now again, this just helps protect the model against the sweats and oils. You got guys eating potato chips, you know, pie, cake, stickies on their fingers. It's going to protect the model. It's going to protect the finish. Right. It also, you'll find when you do a nice top coat, quality top coat, it actually helps the details on the model pop. And you definitely want something that dries nice and flat. Right. I made that mistake years ago when I first got into painting miniatures. I was using some cheap polyurethane spray that you get, you know, for $5 at a hardware store. It ends up being way too thick. It hides the details of the model. Now you see here I'm dumping out the last two of the sinkers. Those sinkers have been mini bottles of micro flat. Get a new bottle. And you'll notice I have a little bit of dead space on the top of the bottle. So I go ahead and put my two sinkers back in. And we're going to go in with some distilled water right up to the top. And each time I use the product, I'll put, I don't know, an ounce, maybe 2 ounces of distilled water just to keep it nice and thin. That way it flows through the paintbrush or the brush really nice. I'm going to go make sure, notice I'm getting thoroughly along the base of the model, because that's going to get a lot of wear and tear moving it around on the table. Right. And we want that to hold up. Doing the base of the legs, I also spray all of the base. In this case, it's got some sand and some, a little bit of static grass. That's the little gun I magnetized. There is a third gun, and it is on the floor somewhere. I hope it'll turn up someday. I dropped it right before I fired up the paint booth, and I could not find it. And it's magnetized, so God only knows where it went. So I'm just using up the last little bit of paint that's in the pot. Last little bit. And I'll show you my cleaning procedure. I only give it a deep clean once a month. I'll take, you know, the needle out. I'll take the gun apart. I'll soak it in hot soapy water. But that cleaner, guys, all it is distilled water and 2 or 3 drops of dish detergent. That's all it is. So you order your first bottle of airbrush cleaner just so you can have the bottle. And then after that, you just make your own. You just go to the grocery store or to a hardware store and just get a couple jugs of distilled water. It's cheap, like $2 a jug. So yeah, I'm hitting that lip right at the base of the model on this speeder bike base. Just to make sure it's nice and thick. See, it just ran out. We're done. So that's it. We're done. Now let's go through my cleaning procedure. I do this whether it's a clear top coat or it's a colored paint. I'm getting in the new line of Vallejo airbrush colors. They have small bottles, the regular size Vallejo bottle. And they also have the jumbo bottles. And I'll be trying those out on my ultramarines. Now we'll see how those work out. So I'm spraying some cleaner through the brush into the holder, the pot holder. Now I'll take a Q-tip. Now I'm going to get the tip. I'm going to get any of the residue that's on the tip. Now if I'm using a color, I'll also use not just the Q-tip, but I'll take one of those toothpicks and I'll just scrape and make sure we're getting all the paint off of the tip of the brush. Now I'm checking for the flow, make sure it's spraying through nice and smoothly. I'm going to right now I'm running some more through. I get a little soap bubbles come through on my trigger sometimes because last time I cleaned the brush I probably used a little too much soap and didn't rinse it thoroughly enough. So as that air goes through the gun, I was getting little soap bubbles come through the trigger. Pretty funny. But that tells you it's nice and squeaky clean. Don't worry about the soap, guys. It's just a surfactant. In the chemical business, we would call that a surfactant. It's just going to act as a sticker, like a spreader sticker. It's not going to hurt anything. I got it all cleaned up. I put it off to the side. We're good to go. There's a tiny bit of airbrush cleaner at the very bottom of the pot. I'll leave there just for the next session and it's ready to go. Thanks for coming along today, guys, and I'll see you next time.